doubles and coffee. The more you listen to Keith Christopher Rowley, is the more you have to wonder where exactly in St. Anne's he does rest his head when the night comes. Keith Rowley telling you, the citizens who are scared, who are afraid to leave your houses, who are afraid in your own house that people, bandits, killers, unknown to you, with automatic weapons, full clip ammunition, running up into your houses, over your gates, driving in and crashing into your car, reversing up by you and shooting in your car across Trinidad and Tobago. He is telling you that Kamla only want to give gun to rich people because poor people can't afford bribe to get FUL license, and the FUL process is corrupt, and you have to pay 40,000 and you have to pay bribe to get gun. And how you go get gun dealers like this man? Sit down there and talk about that. First and foremost, if all of that is true, Keith Christopher Rowley, and you have been Prime Minister for 8 long, torturous, painful years, what have you done about it? Have you sped up the process? Have you eliminated opportunity for corruption? Have you eliminated delays? In fact, you get on a platform just before you talk this nonsense and say that Gary Griffith is horrendous and horrible because he sped up the process, because he got more licenses, more authority, more orders for gun dealers to bring in more weapons for, not for criminals, for law-abiding citizens who have been through the arduous, thorough process of character checks, mental assessment, and all sorts of detailed information on an FUL application. Kamla Prasad Bisesa says, listen, right now, to attack crime, you need all sorts of measures. You need instantaneous plans, you need short-term plan, you need mid-term plan, and you need long-term plan. Right now, she said, as soon as she becomes Prime Minister, she is going to change the law to make access to legal firearms more equitable, easier, and the process will not be fraught with delays. That alone will ease the opportunity for corruption because the process will be made more transparent, more seamless. Then she said that she, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, is going to implement stand your ground and castle doctrine. Protect your castle, protect your home. She's going to the parliament to change the law. I hear a man, a policeman, clearly a PNM man jump out and say, if you empty the clip now, you'll get charged. Kamla Prasad Bisesa said, when she is the Prime Minister, when the people not only remove Rowley from this local government corporation on August 14th across Trinidad, but when the people reject Rowley and the PNM who have done nothing and exacerbated the position and problem of crime over the last 8 years, that she as Prime Minister will change the law, which means she will go to the parliament and say, if you come into my yard with a gun, that is sufficient for you to get shot at. That is sufficient intent of harm. You come into my yard, my property that I pay for, that is fenced around, that belongs to me, with a gun in your hand, then I have the right as a law-abiding citizen to protect myself, my wife, my children, my mother, my property. And Rowley's against that. So Rowley, the man who has left the borders, Kamla also said, mid-term and long-term policies. She will shut down the borders. She will create a security dome. She will put fuel and diesel in the Coast Guard. She'll ensure the radar is working. She will block off that 7-mile stretch. She will make sure the scanners are working in the ports to prevent the importation into Trinidad and Tobago of illegal firearms, which are causing a crime scourge. Men are emptying the clip on law-abiding citizens. Kamla said she will fix that. She will fix that with army and police patrols, coastal radar, spread out all across this country, helicopter, air guard, communication system between all the police units. She will appoint and approve through parliament a merit list based on merit, not on who she like and who she don't like. Furthermore, all of her ministries and the equitable distribution of resources will be assured so that those most in need will have the opportunity to create and develop their talent. Rowley shuts down every opportunity, creates a system and an atmosphere that is ripe for criminal activity, takes away education, takes away GATE, takes away MIC centers, NESC centers, close down THTTI, close down nursing school, close down MIC, NESC, cuts funding to COSTAT and UTT, cuts funding to sport, to culture, and then says, all you get no gun to save all yourself, because KAMLA want to give one race gun and the other one no gun. What race committing crime? What race is good people? We are all Trinbagonians. They are criminals and they are law-abiding citizens. KAMLA says to each and every law-abiding citizen, if you would like the responsibility to train and keep a gun safely in your house to protect your family and your possessions from marauding, raving rapists and killers, then she will make it easy for you to do so. That it must not be only for those who are elite. The process must not be corrupt for those who can make a call to a commissioner of police to get their friend in Tobago to get explosives or weapons and so on. And to one or two people who are clearly PNM, and especially who should be intelligent, like Honorable Attorney Martin George, when you talk about the stand your ground legislation, and you talk about the USA and the racial element, the USA is a disparate society that has gone through some of the most racist policies and laws with Jim Crow, the civil rights movement. The USA has been a white Anglo-Saxon society that has oppressed the black people and brown peoples of the world who came there to try to live a life. The American system has been over the years, decades and centuries fraught with racist overtones, undertones and oppression. So for you to make a comparison between Trinidad and Tobago and the USA is a non-starter. Trinidad and Tobago has had a black PNM government since 1956. All the power positions are black and brown. We don't have a racist society where people are oppressed and killed and tortured, and laws were made to keep opportunities away from black and brown people. So to compare the US situation, the US culture and the US history to Trinidad and Tobago is really shocking, Mr. Martin George. And then for you to talk about stand your ground legislation, not listening to KAMLA and understand that it is a hybrid between stand your ground and castle doctrine to protect your home, to keep firearms, to allow legal firearms in the home, to protect your family in your home from marauding bandits. For you to then use the case of Trayvon Martin with a man, an idiot called Zimmerman, who was up to think he was Starritis, he was some Clint Eastwood out there in the USA, out on the road, in the street. And Trayvon Martin, because he was black, and Zimmerman had a racist tendency and saw him as a threat. To compare that and to bring that into the discussion is a non-starter, Mr. George. That had nothing to do with Zimmerman being in his house, in his home, with 3 or 4 bandits in a wing road, or a wet man teeter jumping in and jumping the wall and coming to rape and rob. It was an example of an idiotic man with racist tendencies, whether subconscious or conscious, who took his weapon and killed a youth man. It's a terrible example, it's a tragedy, and it shows the paucity of unity, love and respect in the USA. That has nothing to do with Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is law-abiding. All citizens who are law-abiding deserve the opportunity to protect themselves. You cannot just leave, as Rowley wants to do, leave the borders unprotected, leave the ports without scanners, leave the police without a substantive commissioner of police who won the merit list, to take number 12 and put it on top, to thwart the police by not giving them resources, to not give diesel to the Coast Guard, to keep the radar not functioning, close down the the air guard and not buy new planes, no helicopters in the air, no communication, allow bandits to run with and drive around with weapons, AK-47, AR-15, shooting and killing in the daylight, in the morning, lunchtime, and at night, and then say to citizens, I cannot protect you, but you cannot protect yourselves, because I am not going to allow you to protect yourself against bandits. Rowley has no plan. He had no plan, and he has lost his mind. Get rid of Rowley from every level of government. Rowley and the PNM must go. August 14th, into general election. Vote them out.